Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of Bombers Blitz on the College Football Mafia Network. I'm your host, Nathan Bomber Brown. I just popped over here from Voice of College Football, Big 12, I guess maybe is what Clint Foster's show is called. I don't know what it's called, but look him up. Clint Foster, fantastic contributor or creator of Big 12 content on the Voice of College Football channel. You can just look him up. And yeah, it was fun being on his show, talking a little bit of Holy War and Big 12. I only was able to give him a little bit of time. So if you're over here from Clint's show, please don't take it as I'm sliding on him at all. We ran up into a couple scheduling quirks there and couldn't quite work out the entire time. So I'm glad to be here tonight. That's all that matters now. Yes, we are going to do call-ins tonight. We will make it work. It should be a fun and lively conversation as we talk about the Holy War, and everything that goes around rivalries. I also have a bunch of bookmarks on Twitter of these stories still that will not die about the Big Ten and anymore. I don't know what to call it. I was having a conversation. Well, not really a conversation. Greg Flugar, peek around the corner, and I were going back and forth as we do on Twitter. We don't always agree, but we certainly have good conversations. And I'm not sure what to call it. Is it venture capital? Big Ten Enterprises, is that a business that anybody can come along and buy into? Are we talking about private equity or are we talking about private capital? These terms all have different applications, and it's all up in the air right now in Big Ten land. The reports out, which by the way did not surprise me. If you saw the show on Friday, you heard me say this. I still don't see what the urgency out of schools that are on maybe the lower half of the wage scale in the Big Ten wanting 9-digit payouts. I cannot think of the why still eludes me of the Big Ten investment, the 2.4 billion that's been rumored. This last weekend, Michigan and USC played, and yeah, there were high level champagne dreams and what was it? Champagne wishes and something dreams. Anyway, that's that's an '80s reference. It eludes me why the big powers to be at the Big Ten really would need an investment like this. This seems more like a bailout to lower, not even lower. Let's not even say that. Penn State's looking for $50 more million, and it's not going to end up being that much. They're going to either negotiate a lower out for Franklin, or they'll pay him just a few $1 million every year not to coach. But it's not going to be 50 million in one lump sum. Never was going to be. So Penn State isn't really looking for $50 million today to pay him off. But there's still a lot of money that is needed to run sports operations, and a vast majority of schools run on a very, very marginal budget. And there's certainly in the Big Ten, if you bring a lot of money in, you tend to spend about as much as you bring in. That's what we do as human beings. And college organizations are not any smarter than we are, people. I don't care what school you went to. They mishandle money just as, in fact, worse than others in some regards, as we saw from the Pac-12 fiasco. So where's this money going? What's it for? Those questions aren't as important as, are they even going to get a vote? Because right now, USC's saying, hey, look, we got other options. If you were with me last Wednesday, right here on this channel, me and Bob Thompson, yes, the Bob Thompson, retired president of Fox Sports, creator of the Big Ten Network, sat right there across from me virtually and told everybody, little nugget, Netflix is negotiating with Notre Dame and who? USC, yes, of the Big Ten, USC, to do an offshore annual game. And that pisses people off. Probably if I was in the Big Ten, it might piss me off the most because we're all supposed to be equal, right? Here you bring in these prima donna USC Trojans and they think they can just do whatever they want. Well, maybe they can. Who's going to stop them? You don't want to piss off media partners. That's what certainly Greg feels, and I don't know if Moen believes that. It's quite possible he does. I don't think they care. I don't think USC cares a whit I think they see if they're not going to make as much money either in a payout structure of a Big Ten $2.4 billion payout, or the reverse, if it's they want more money just because they can get it on a one-off game every year playing Notre Dame, why not? And if you're Notre Dame, you don't need to join a conference. If you can do a one game a year, maybe even more than one game package with Netflix offshore and make hundreds of millions of dollars for yourself. Why share that with a conference? These financial things in college sports are absolute madness. And it's only been growing. It's a crescendo. It's like we're at a concert and you're coming up to the end of the song and everything's getting louder and louder. That's what this money stuff is, and it's not going away. It's not going to be solved tomorrow. They may have a vote by the end of the week. I'm still not sure about that. I didn't think they were having a vote Monday or Tuesday, beginning of this week, as had been reported. I didn't think that was going to happen. But I don't know. But if I'm USC, I'm doing everything I can to exploit my advantage. And my advantage is, one, I'm USC, a blue blood, and two, our game with Notre Dame is top 5 rivalry in the entire country, and it's not even in a conference. Tells you how important that thing is. So we'll talk about that too. I'll open up the phone lines. You guys can call in. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about. Certainly, I'm going to lead off the show tonight with the Holy War. There's really been no big news, and anybody who was looking for big news at the beginning of this week, going into Utah versus BYU in Provo. BYU home game, if you don't know where that is. Totally fine. I understand if you don't. It's the biggest game in the Big 12 all year. Utah, Texas Tech was big for Texas Tech. But Utah always knew, even if they lost to Texas Tech, if they beat BYU and went out, they'll probably get to where they want anyway. It's a little bit different. Not totally, but a little bit different if BYU loses to Utah, because they still have a chance to beat Texas Tech. So it's not all over by this time of the calendar if BYU loses. It's giving hope to Cougar fans everywhere. If Utah loses, it's not impossible, but it's a hill. BYU climbed that hill last year and was left at the altar. So I understand what that anxiety is going to be like from my very good friend Wild Ute. So we'll have to see. It's the biggest game in the Big 12. And Ute has coined this. I didn't say this. Ute said this last night on our show. If you missed it, you can catch it in our show library. Ute and I got on last night talking about the Holy War exclusively. The biggest game in the newly formed, which is only one. This is the second year. Big 12 conference. And you look at the media partners, you look at 2 years in a row now, college football on Fox has been in Provo. They see the importance of this game. ESPN is basically selling the Big 12 down the river. I know Bob Thompson, we spoke about this. I can't remember if it was online or offline. I asked him specifically, is ESPN going to let the Big 12 go quietly? And they're going to try to hang on to it because it's cheap programming. But I'm a big believer, and I think there's a bit of a storyline building now, as I've talked to people, behind the new Paramount, CBS, maybe TNT Sports deal, Paramount, HBO, and walking away from ESPN in 2030, 31. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could see it happening very easily. And I think it would be a massive, massive deal for the Big 12. And at that point, I think the Big 12 would be here to stay if they could pull that off. So we're a few years away. But for this year and in the last 2 years in the Big 12 conference, you don't have to like it. But in my opinion, as in Utes, I think this is the biggest game in Big 12 history because it's the rivalry. Texas Tech, Utah was a big game. BYU, Texas Tech is going to be a big game. Texas Tech in general, it's going to be a big game, whoever plays them. But yeah, without the rivalry component, it doesn't draw near as much. And again, I refer to Bob Thompson. who has said many, many times, rivalries is either 1A or 1B in the priorities of all college football valuations. Well, all college sports, really. Anytime you can include a rivalry, you add that with proximity, you add that with where they're at in the competition scale, all those things, you combine them, you're not going to get any bigger than BYU Utah. So that's where we're at. ESPN college football did not decide to come, and that College Game Day, fine, whatever. I don't really like them anyway. Haven't for several years. And I think Fox treats BYU really well. They're going to blow this game up. It's going to be all day programming on Fox. So I want to tell everybody who's a fan of college football to tune in on Saturday evening. It'll be 8 Eastern. I believe it's 6, or is it the late game? No, I think it's the mid. It's like the third game in the day, if I remember right. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. But that game is going to be big for all the reasons that I've talked about. And I think it's something that everybody should tune in and watch. I would be super excited if that game if we got 3 million people watching, I'd be super excited about it. 3 million plus would be a banging number. So, well, let's see. But BYU 6-0, Utah 5-1. Something to look forward to. Anyway, so I'm going to do shout outs. We're going to start off with shout outs, and then we will drive right into calls. And then as we go through calls, I will go, as calls either coming or not coming, I will go to my bookmarks on Twitter or read comments, and we'll talk about the news of the day as well. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight. This is Bombers Blitz on the College Football Mafia. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube. If you want to get involved, become a member, or give us a super chat to help us keep the lights on around here. Hit the the dollar bill symbol next to the comment box. Click it. You can give us a super chat, super sticker, or become a member. And all those things really help us out around here. And if you become a new member, you have access to a complete library of member videos that my team puts out. Best in the business, best of breed, Wild Ute University, Mowing After Dark, Mowing Rants, and everything else that is the library at the College Football Mafia Network. We appreciate everybody that helps contribute for those. And we want to encourage you guys, if you're members, make sure you check those videos out when we're not doing live shows. Anyway, all right, so let's do some shout outs, and then we will get to news of the day. Oh, by the way, I wanted to give everybody, if you are, and I don't know how this works actually, if you're watching on your computer, you're probably already on YouTube, but that UPC signal or UPC sign should take you to the College Football Mafia page on YouTube, where you can become a member. Just hit the join button in the middle of the page, and you will be set. I'll leave that up through the beginnings of shout outs, and then we'll move on, and that will disappear. Okay. College Football Unfiltered. Love to have you here, man. Thanks for showing up. Make sure you subscribe and follow me, brother. Appreciate it. Let's see, Moen's twin, who is deeply bonded with Mother Nature, is first. Okay, okay. Moen's twin, who is, boy, that's a deep sentence. Okay, College Football Unfiltered. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're first. It's good to have you here. Buckshot Kid, good to have you here, Buckshot Kid, saying, oh, hey, Bomber. Good to have you here, man. Appreciate you. David Swanson. David, thanks for being here, man. Kalani Sitake to PSU. Yes. If he got that phone call and offered, yes, he would be a fantastic pick at Penn State. And I would miss him, but that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But don't come at me with Kalani Sitake to Oklahoma State or to Oregon State or to UCLA. None of those things are happening. It would have to be somebody of the stature of the Penn State to pull him away, in my opinion. But yeah, he would definitely deserve to be there for sure. Good to see you, David. Thanks for being here tonight. Sorry, Buckshot Kid. I said hi to you. Oh, hey, Bomber. I appreciate that. Joseph Kerlegan Jr. I love that name. That's a fantastic English sounding name. I say more money in college football. Please pour in so much money that Notre Dame says, I quit, and gives up their independence. Notre Dame to the Big Ten is so cool. Is cool. I'm a Notre Dame fan. Well, there you go, Joseph. You have an open invitation to the Big Ten, I think. So you guys can go whenever you want. I don't know if you're a Notre Dame fan why you would want that, though. I guess you don't care if you're not worried about the money part of it. Joining no, I would put it the reverse way. If you join a conference, you'll have less opportunity to make it to the playoff. You realize that, right? And if you're fine going 8-4 in the Big Ten and missing the playoff, then that's cool. Being in a group is always fun. Being on a team in a conference is always cool. If I was a Notre Dame fan, I wouldn't be begging for it. I think you guys should stay independent. It's the smartest, in my opinion, it's the smartest decision. But I appreciate you being here, Joseph. I always love seeing you. The Big Lubbock, again, saying first, representing Texas Tech. Red Raiders, Big Lubbock, another member of the College Football Mafia family. He also says, I think in about 3 or 4 years, OU, USC, and Texas will have a secret meeting to start their own regional power conference spanning Texas, West Coast. Why, Big Lubbock? Why at this point would you want to form another conference? You're already at the top of the pyramid. Maybe what? I just don't know why there's a necessity to put those brands together. You're already in the top 2 conferences in the country. You really don't have to claim for dominance. I don't know why you'd do that. In my mind, the next iteration is going to be one giant division of college football, my Super League. If you don't know what that is, you can look it up on Wikipedia. Somebody do that Wikipedia for me. Daniel Gygax, will you create a Wikipedia article on my Super League idea, please? So I can just start cutting and pasting in so I don't have to explain it every time. Yeah, it could happen, obviously, Lubbock. I just don't see why they'd want to. I just don't know why. More money, I guess, would be the only reason I could think of. Caden the Diesel Freak checking in, saying good evening, College Football Mafia family. Good to have you here, man. Good to see you, Caden. Stephen Vitt, how are you doing tonight, guys? I'm doing well. I'm by myself, so I'm doing fine, Stephen. That is great to see you. Daniel Gygax checking in, saying hi, everyone. Bob Swanger, Penn State, boy. Have a good show. We'll watch later. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate you. Thanks for being a member of the College Football Mafia family, brother. I appreciate you. And I hope Penn State gets a great coach. I really, really do. Penn State needs, I say this all the time about brands. College football is better when Penn State is better. So I want Penn State to be back. Not that they were down. Let's be very clear. James Franklin was a winning coach. He came within a down or two to be in the championship game last year in the CFP. I just think this season it was obvious he lost his team. Somebody there wanted a change. $50 million is a lot of coin, boy. All right, Bob. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here tonight. Yogi Buck Senior. Good to have you here, Yogi Buck Senior. Curious if you thought USC was worth a full share in the Big Ten, since you sound pretty adamant that Florida State is not. FSU had 330 million regular season viewers from 2013 to 2023. USC had 248 million. I think the difference is Florida State is in Tallahassee and USC is in LA. And when you say that 10-year window, 2013 to 2023 is probably the worst decade in USC history. Certainly since the 60s or 50s, when I wasn't alive and I haven't looked at that data. That 10-year span was USC's down worst year. So it's not about where Florida State is as much as where USC isn't. I think USC numbers will explode again when they start winning again. As far as being a full member in the Big Ten, Value is in what somebody's willing to accept. Does it matter to the world whether I feel like Florida State's worth a full share or half share? None of that matters. If the Big Ten wants them, they'll get them. And Florida State will get whatever they earn and deserve it, rightfully so. I'm not knocking Florida State at all. I love Florida State. But we're talking about a Big Ten that already is rich. There hasn't been numbers that have come out that have said the value, $80 million, $75 to $80 million. Nobody has seen, Yogi Buck, that value would be straight across. Right now, the only open school that could bring that is Notre Dame. There's not even, how many in the SEC? Probably 8 teams in the SEC. There's 4 or 5 teams in the Big Ten that carry that value by themselves. But as a group, the conference is worth a ton more than the individual parts. The Big Ten's worth a lot more money if they bring in Florida State. Just like they're worth a lot more money getting USC. No, they came in at a full share, right? USC and UCLA both came in at a full share. It's Oregon and Washington that didn't. So anyway, USC's value is in the fact that they're a blue blood. Florida State, in my opinion, is a blue blood, but they're not getting paid like it. They deserve to make more money than they are in the ACC, though. However, well, this year, again, Florida State's bad this year. This sucks. I hate when Florida State is bad. They deserve to be at the top of the ACC every freaking year. When they're back, the Success Initiative, they will be making a ton of money, much more than they are now. So it's just a matter of time. But this isn't about money. This is about access. And right now, the P2 have all the cards. So we'll have to see. I appreciate you being here, Yogi Buck, though. It's great to see you. Let's see here. Edward, the Auburn Tiger. It's been a minute, brother. I haven't seen you for a while. It's good to have you here. Thanks for being a long-standing member of the College Football Mafia family. Appreciate it. The Big Ten is in trouble. From low TV ratings to conference-threatening infighting, things are not looking good. I don't know about that, Edward. $2.4 billion is, that's a lot of money. Look, the SEC is going to turn around and do the same thing. The SEC isn't in a rush to do this, is the difference. The Big Ten is looking for cash. I think there are schools within the Big Ten that need the money. In the SEC, outside of Arkansas, I don't know there's a lot of schools crying poverty. I mean, for heaven's sakes, Vanderbilt's exploiting the fact that they're able to make money now and getting a bunch from their media value. So the Big Tens don't lose the thread, though. Indiana's very good. I think the conference is, look, when we say it's not unanimous, they only need 2 votes. They've already got 16 votes for this deal. So they strike a deal with Michigan. They strike a deal with USC, which I think eventually they will. If they want to get this done, it'll have to be something like that. They'll have to give up something. And when they do that, the Big Ten will get paid. But the very next day, to steal their thunder, maybe even during Tony Petitti announcing they've secured this deal, I could see Sankey standing up mid-press conference of Petitti's and saying, yep, we're ready to do ours too. And yeah, that's a quaint $2.4 billion. We're getting 3 for the same 10%. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it could happen. Maybe even should be likely to happen. So, I don't know. People want money. There's no doubt about it. People want money. Let's see here. We got a super chat first from Caden. I told you BYU versus Utah is going to be a fight. It is. You're right, Caden. $2 super chat to say that. Thank you so much for it. I appreciate you. And yes, it was all, it's always a fight. It's always a fight. Mowing After Dark checking in, giving away 5 gifted memberships. How about that? Let's everybody give Mowing After Dark a hand. 5 gifted memberships. And no, Moen, I don't have the window open. Somebody needs to tell me who those memberships went to. I forgot to open the window. Well, he's coming right from Foster's show, so I didn't catch it. Can somebody post who those memberships went to so I can name those and call those out? I want everybody to get credit. As soon as those pop up, I will name them. I appreciate you, Moen, giving those 5 gifted memberships. If you're a new member, and I'll tell you who you are in just a second, make sure you, after the show, go to our library and go to all the member content. Got a bunch of it. And we have all kinds of member videos talking about the business of college football, how it works, rivalries, Big Ten realignment, even though I'm calling it consolidation, changes in members of conferences. That's where we're at now. And yeah, let's see here. Nobody's told me who did it. Looks like MGC Sooner got one. I appreciate that. MGC Sooner, thanks for saying thank you to Moen. That's really, really cool. Let's see. If somebody will post those names, I will absolutely read them. I apologize. That's my fault. I was in a rush and didn't get a chance to pull up my interface to be able to read those. But I will recognize them. But if you're a new member, make sure you check those out. And I will get to calling you out in just a little bit. Let's see here. Great to see you, Edward, the Auburn Tiger, by the way. I appreciate you being here. Sean, when it comes to money, the Big Ten will sell their souls. Yeah, well, I can't speak to that. Maybe. Big Lubbock, USC is very much worth that. What OSU and Michigan are worth. The Big Ten is too arrogant to realize this. Yeah, maybe. Laura Weiss. Lubbock has been around from the very, very beginning. Laura Weiss is probably my favorite Red Raider, though. I appreciate you, Laura. Thanks so much for being here. Hey, y'all. It's great to see you. Let's see here. Don't take it personal, Big Lubbock. I was just teasing you. Let's see. Get a few more shout outs. Larry, the GM, representing the mighty Texas Longhorns, who beat Oklahoma last week. I think Mateer should not have played, but that's a different conversation. Larry, the GM, when you say it's the biggest game in Big 12 history, you mean the 2 seasons? Yes, I do. That's Larry. If you didn't hear me qualify that, I said yes. In the last 2 seasons, biggest game. Yeah, I'm not talking about Big 12 history. Of course not. No, I would never say that. No, it's just in the last 2-year iteration is all. So, of course, the Big 12 is a storied conference that's had much, much bigger, more relevant games for decades. So, no, I would never say that. But thanks for asking, at least. Give me a chance to clear that up in case people had questions. We will do a few more shout-outs. Stormy Cyclone. Stormy, what are you doing with me? Man, Iowa State. You guys, your defense. I want Iowa State to be good. You guys got to get on it. Anyways, it's great to see you, Stormy. Valuable member of the College Football Mafia family, saying, so the Big Ten isn't in step on private equity. No, not as far as reports the last 2 days have been, Stormy. Too much arrogance in one room. Too much arrogance in one room is tough to agree. Yeah, well, initially, it was said that it might be Ohio State and Michigan that were the holdouts. Now we're hearing it's Michigan, USC. In my opinion, USC is in the bargaining position they should be, and they will end up getting whatever they ask for if they want this deal to go through, whether that's the ability to schedule one-off games with Notre Dame and make $1 zillion from Netflix, or it's they get a bigger payout than they were going to get before. USC is going to get their pound of flesh. Guaranteed. Let's see here. Troll Grinding Cheek Clapper, renewed member of the College Football Mafia family from last night. The biggest game of Big 12 prior to recent realignment is probably any games that got more views than the Red River rivalry. That's funny. I think that's hilarious. Again, I'm only talking about the last 2 years. Let's see here. Moen After Dark says that is not one of Moen's dozen twins. Okay. So now we have people taking ownership for being related to Moen. I'm not sure how that got started, but okay. Yeah. We will keep going. A few more shout outs, and then I will turn on the phone calls, and then I will immediately also go to um, Twitter comments that I bookmarked today. There was news that I wanted to make sure we covered as well tonight. So this is an all seasons, all feature show tonight. I appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, help me keep this thing going. I'm going to really quick scroll to the bottom. If somebody put the names in of everybody who got, I don't want to miss it. Did somebody put the names in of everybody? Let me see here. Here we go. Moen, Larry the GM, Steel Austin, Mosito, and Hawken. Received gift memberships from Moen After Dark. Thank you so much. Make sure you thank him. And thank you, Moen, for picking me up there. I was down a little bit. I didn't have that window open. Get to a couple more shout outs. Dennis Hattie, the USC versus Illinois game pulled a little over 4 million, and almost all of it was Midwest audience. Yeah, I'm telling you, the Big Ten has not tapped into LA yet. No, with UCLA just being the worst, and USC being down. Lincoln Riley ain't it, for those that have questions. Until those two programs are back playing top tier football, they will not harness all of LA, or for that matter, California, and they won't see their total value. So as USC specifically starts winning, those numbers will go up massive. But 4 million is not bad for a Midwest brand that isn't a traditional power in Illinois. To draw 4 million with USC, that's pretty cool. I would be, if I was an Illinois fan, I would be happy about that. Shooter Tex, representing Baylor Bears in the house, another valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. It really sucks that ESPN will not give BYU their due, but that has been happening to Big 12 teams not named UT and OU for a long time. I know it does suck, Shooter. And it's not just, look, I want the whole Big 12. Obviously, I'm speaking as a BYU fan, but I'm a fan of the Big 12 as well. And I think ESPN is shortchanging us, but it's not anything we shouldn't expect. For heaven's sakes, they completely walked away. They've abandoned on a doorstep somewhere the ACC. Just abandon it. Like a baby on the side of the highway. And at least we're not treated as bad as the ACC. So it's just not a partnership that's going to be fruitful. I think the partnership I've already just mentioned, the TNT, CBS, Paramount Plus, HBO, Goliath, if they could pull that off, that would be a fantastic partnership for the Big 12. It would fully replace ESPN, in my opinion. And maybe they even keep Fox around. That would be really cool. Let's see if there's anybody else. Steel Austin, renewed member. Where have you been, brother? You're a guy that I've missed. Where have you been? I love having Ute banter, and I miss you when you're not around. I'm glad you got your membership back. Thanks, Moen. Mafia Dr. Love. And, oh boy, Steel Austin with his little funny Big Ten, UU Big Ten sticker. I don't have the energy for it tonight, guys. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I normally represent the world's wishes when it comes to saying how silly that sounds, but I can't do it tonight. I'm not going to go there. I got other things I want to cover. FF18 Buffs. That would be Fergie in the house. Colorado Buffaloes played well this last week. Has Dion turned it around? Are they going to finish this season? We'll have to see. Salter is starting to find out that he actually is an A4 level conference quarterback. Now he just needs everybody else to step up and play with him. His offensive line's the best in the country, if you didn't know that. Happy for a bye week. Good show, Bomber. Thank you, Fergie. I appreciate you. And congratulations again for your win last week. Let's see if there's anything else. Gygax, keeping it real. The ACC doesn't have a Fox to broadcast primetime games on national network. That's right. Yeah, in case you've forgotten, BYU, Utah, well, they're not playing at 3:30 Eastern. They're playing in a better time for the Mountain West and for the Big 12 in general. If it is the time zone, and I think it is, can somebody check that? Is it 7 p.m. Eastern time? I think it is. That is prime time viewing, and it's on Fox. Like Fox. So it's getting top billing at Fox. ESPN would have put it on maybe ESPN, but it would have been an 8:30 game, and nobody watches that game. Like last year, it was an 8:30 game. Still did over, I believe it was over 2 million views. I can't remember the exact number. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong on that, don't come at me. I'm just remembering wrong. But that game kicked off after 8:30 p.m. Mountain, which is 10:30 Eastern. This game is in prime time. People are eating dinner. They're coming inside from doing chores, and that game's going to get a big number. And Fox knows it too. That's why college football on Fox, big noon. They're coming to Provo. They will be here. If you're a BYU fan and you want to really fan, go down in the morning. Be down there at 4 or 5 in the morning, and they're going to be doing the pregame down there, and it will be amazing. It was last year, and it'll be amazing again this year. Better because it's with Utah. All right. Let's see. I think, 8 p.m. Eastern. So I was right. 6 p.m. Mountain. That was 7 Central for those that can't do math. I encourage everybody to watch the game. If you're a Big 12 fan, definitely watch it. It builds the brand of the Big 12. It's not just BYU and Utah. I encourage everybody to tune in and watch that. It should be pretty good. A couple more comments, and then I'm going to get right to the phones. Yogi Buck again, should be pretty simple. Big Ten, basically 100 million hamburgers today for 2.4 million burgers in the next 20 years. Really, the deal should just come down to IRR. I'm not sure what that means. Down to it, maybe, or anyway, I get what you're saying, Yogi Buck. And it would be cool. It would be cool. Give me a second. I gotta send my wife or my daughter a text. Give me a second here. Haley, I need my. Can you come get me some ice water? My wife, my daughter loves me. Hopefully. Okay. I think we're going to jump right into, let's see, is there anybody else I wanted to say hey to? Yogi Buck says, love playing BYU in Anaheim. Boy, I love playing against USC and UCLA. I love playing Big 12 or Pac-10 schools. Pac-12 didn't matter to me really at all. But Pac-12 schools, I loved when BYU played there because they played there almost every year. We had some Pacific time zone games, and I absolutely love those schools, even though the fans didn't treat us real well. I didn't care about that. Okay, here we go. We are going to open up the phone lines now. I will turn them on. Let me put up my banner so everybody knows what the phone number is. Oh, no, the phone number is at the bottom, 801-899-6203. Call in, and I do read the comments. So if you're a jackass or somebody that nobody sees value in being on the phone with me, I am tolerant with you callers, but if you guys start sensing something's going to go south, tell me to dump the call, and I'll probably do that. We're not going to run any more risks that we've had in the past where bad people call in and take advantage. We're not going to do that. So call me tonight, 801-899-6203. We'll talk about anything you want to in college football or college sports in general. Let me repost this link so I can make sure I have it reposted. So now everybody knows we're live. And okay, I'm going to open up the phone lines right now. And we'll go from there. 801-899-6203. Call in and we will talk. Other than that, I'm going to jump into comments that I've got, and I'm not going to be able to display them because I'm also trying to keep my phone line open, but I can read them and we can go through them that everybody understands the storylines that we're talking about. I'm going to start with some of the last tweets I put out before the show started. This first one, that I have a question. This is just an open, posing the question to everybody. I'm going to read it, and then you guys decide if it's something you want to talk about. If it's not, we'll go on. I got calling in right now. So
call from
K the Diesel Freak, Nathan.
Caden the Diesel Freak, how you doing?
Nathan the Bomber, how you doing tonight, good sir?
I'm doing okay. What's on your mind?
Well, like I said tonight, BYU versus Utah this year is going to be an absolute dogfight, and it's not just two of the top tier schools in the Big 12 going at it. It's a high stakes. It's two of the best that if Utah wins this, they can have a shot to the playoffs.
Sure.
If BYU beats Utah, then BYU has an automatic trip to the Big 12 title, and then obviously to the playoffs.
I would just say this: BYU still has some games to do, right? If we take the Texas Tech game and sort of say it's a throwaway, BYU, if they beat Utah, they still have to get by Iowa State, Cincinnati, and TCU. And then there's at least one other game in there that I'm not remembering. So
Arizona State.
Arizona State. No, wait. Do we play Arizona State this year?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
I do remember it was Arizona
Okay.
State.
I for some reason I didn't think we had Arizona State, but regardless, yeah, there's big games BYU still has to get by. But certainly if Utah wins, they have a very good opportunity to make it to the Big 12 championship game.
And I said this, a few months ago, actually. We were lucky. I went down the schedule with you a few months ago, and I said that this could be a toss-up game.
Yeah.
If it's in the scenario where both teams are elite, both teams are at the top of the Big 12, high stakes. I call it, Nathan. I call it straight down the middle.
What you always have. Yeah, I appreciate that, Caden. And I think it is. It does not. If BYU fans are up, for that matter, if you're a Utah fan, if you get all bent out of shape or you celebrate the fact that Utah's a 3.5-point favorite, there's nothing to celebrate there. It's not a shock. Utah played very well last week, and BYU didn't play as good as they could have because they were missing Jack Kelly on defense. So I think that explains the 3.5 points that Utah is currently favored by, which is essentially a touchdown because BYU is playing at home. So it's really 6.5 points that Utah is favored by. I don't think this game is that. I think this game is a 1.5 point maybe separation between these two. You could easily see a field goal win or lose this thing by the end of the night.
And Nathan, as a fan of the reigning defending undisputed 9-time national champion Ohio State Buckeyes,
right?
And I don't need to dollar my way. I don't need to push my way as far as I'm concerned. This is a game I'm going to be specifically watching. Good. Because our schedule is just weak as crap.
Yeah.
And I here's the funny thing. I said this last week, and I said this for about 2 months to somebody. I said, somebody, for the love of God, tell the Big Ten commissioner to get us to schedule BYU, WU, Utah, or Miami in the regular season because our schedule is just weak as crap, and we need somebody from out of conference that is as tough and is as physical as my team because playing a weak schedule every freaking year sucks. We're blowing people out left and right, and I'm being fair, Nathan. It stinks. It freaking stinks.
Yeah.
Penn State, and literally, if y'all play Penn State right now, y'all beat them by at least 3 touchdowns.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right now. But like I said, Nathan, I'll just be fair. As a fan of the 9-time undisputed national champion, I want competition. BYU and Utah, I'm going to be completely honest. I can't wait to see which team pulls the win out. If Utah makes the upset or BYU holds the fort down in what the heck is that city called? I always forget what it's called. Minerva, I can't remember where. Provo, yeah.
Provo,
Utah.
Yeah. Okay.
Provo, Utah. I will literally come back next week on the show and I'll say, what a heck of a game. And I heard you and Professor Wild and you last night talking about it. And I had to say, please put the wife and children in the event, because this game is not for the weak at heart. And make sure this game is not going to be for the weak-hearted. No, this game is for grown men. So just to hear advice of the folks, the College Football Mafia, when BYU, when that clock hits 8:30 or what is it, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
It is, yeah. It'll be
5
8 p.m.
Yeah. 5 p.m. Mountain Time.
6 Mountain.
Put the
6
Mountain. Please put the wife and children away, because this game is going to be ugly. It's going to get physical, and the boys are going to be playing out of their minds. And I know them Utah Utes ain't going to go down without a fight. And I know the BYU Cougars ain't going to go down without a fight.
Yes.
So please keep the wife and children especially away from the TV set, because it is going to be ugly, and it's only for grown men. So
okay.
I'm just going to say that.
Thank you.
I'm just going to say that now, just as a warning.
Thank you, Caden. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you calling in. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Hey, Nathan, go Bucks, and hey, baby, we'll see you in the playoffs.
Yeah, I love it. Go Bucks, go Cougars. Okay, see you later. That was Caden the Diesel Freak. I always appreciate when he calls. Always fun, entertaining, and he keeps it in the bounds, which I really appreciate anymore. Social media is a cesspool in general. If you want to call in right now, phone number's open, 801-899-6203. Somebody else called just a bit ago. I missed your call because I was talking to Caden. Just call back. If you're next in line, I'll certainly bring it up. So let's move along. I was over here trying to get to X report. This is one I was trying to get to. Let me pull this up here for myself. There we go. So the Big Ten, private equity, David Lidbit put out a tweet, and I did a reply. I'm going to post a link to the reply in the comment section. And basically, so we always give credit where credit's due. I encourage everybody to go read the article. It's not behind a paywall. At least it wasn't when I read it. The idea that Congress could come in and do anything to restrict a Big Ten equity deal or capital deal or venture capital deal, what can they do in a second? Next call.
Call from
Daniel.
Daniel V. Gygax, how you doing?
Good. Here's why I think Michigan, USC, and whoever are hesitant on taking money from an outside party.
Okay.
The thing is, let's say that I have a company, Danco Inc. LLC.
Okay.
I want to invest in the Big Ten. Don't you think that if I'm giving a very large check, I would want certain say-so over how things are operated in the company, even though
yes,
Big Ten isn't a company per se?
Well, the Big Ten Enterprises is, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can understand their hesitation. They're sitting there looking at this. Okay, for that money, what do you guys want? We don't know what's being said behind closed doors.
That's right.
We won't know anything until the details are all released.
Yes. Yeah. I look, you heard me last Friday. I was swimming upstream against Moen and against Greg, who they feel like this is something that is simple to do, right? And if you look at both of their prisms that they look at through life, it makes sense that they would think it'd be pretty easy, a slam dunk decision. Ohio State doesn't necessarily need the money, but they'll take the competitive advantage, and evidently don't mind supporting the bottom part, well, the lower part of the Big Ten. Don't want to say bottom, there's no bottom, but the schools that maybe need more money. Ohio State's maybe for some reason willing to suffer in that regard, and so they'll take on some debt for them. If I'm the Big Ten, if I'm Penn State, why am I selling? Well, Penn State, again, we have this whole thing about firing the coach. They want the money.
Yeah.
But let's say Michigan and Ohio State are peers. Do they really
Yes.
need the additional money? I mean, are they starving for cash? I don't think so.
No.
So why sell
If I
for 10
if I
cents when you can
remember
get 50 or
correctly,
60%?
if I remember correctly, I think and I'm probably wrong because I'm thinking it might have been Texas, but I thought that Ohio State had the most money that came in for football last year.
Yeah, I can't remember. We looked at those numbers in the offseason. They're
Yes.
always 1, 2, or 3, though.
Yeah. So it's not like that we're talking, even if I'm off by a couple million, it's a rounding error whenever it comes
That's right.
down
Yeah,
to
that
those
difference
guys. Yeah.
is not distinct enough to make a choice difference, I don't think.
No.
Whereas for Indiana, that would be a massive influx of cash that they could live off
Yeah.
for years. It would be a big
Now,
difference.
the buyout that Franklin is receiving is the total athletic budget for Marshall University.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
I
I
saw
know.
something like that.
I know it is a whole different world in Huntington, West Virginia than what it is in State College, PA.
Yeah.
But they are both FBS football programs, and that is a night and day difference.
Yes.
Whenever it comes down to cash.
Yep. Well, and
Also,
I mean, what's West Virginia's operating budget? 120 million? 110?
Something like that. I think it was like one. It was like 130. I want to say it was 132.
Okay, all right. That was within
Something
10 million.
like
That's
that.
pretty good.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head. But you're also burying the lead there, Nate. You broke the Netflix Notre Dame USC story.
We did. We broke it last week. Yep.
Yeah.
We were the first. We interviewed Bob Thompson right here last Wednesday, and Bob
and Bob kind of like, it sounded like he just let it slip out because
it wasn't
didn't read
planned.
It
we hadn't
else.
talked about it. All I did was give him the opening to give us some information we didn't know, and yeah, the USC Netflix deal with Notre Dame trying to negotiate something. Yeah, we talked about that last Wednesday before the private equity, private capital, venture capital stuff broke Thursday night, Friday.
Yes. Now, like you remember what was about a year and change, Big 12 was talking to equity partners.
Yes. Yeah.
But the thing is, we don't know what the backroom deal was on it. It could have been the same thing. Hey, we'll give you blank, blank, blank amount of cash, but we want blank, blank, blank say in how this or this is done. We just don't know.
Well, and you know, at the end of the day, whoever is the first one to make a deal, the other one's going to immediately go in and try to get a better deal. Now, once you set a number, everybody's going to be, that's the number. Now we're going to go out and try to get as much as we can as it relates to that number. That's right.
Exactly.
And we also need to remember, this is something that sort of gets lost, but $2.4 billion in the Big Ten is for 18 schools now. If the same valuation comes to the SEC, it's going to be over $3 billion.
Correct. Now, here's something else. They were talking about reading where Notre Dame still wants a game in Southern California. I know a conference that's got 2 teams in Southern California. And in one year, they can go play at the Rose Bowl. The other year, they can play at the LA Coliseum. And that conference will accept them immediately.
Yeah. I know.
So, okay, Nate.
Thanks for calling, Daniel. I appreciate you. Hey, get that quote cut up and put out there so we can propagate that.
I sent it to you.
Don't send it to me. Post it. I don't want to see it. I just want you to cut and paste and put it online.
I did send it to you. Okay, not a problem.
Yeah, just put it on Twitter. Copy the world.
Okay, not a problem.
All right, talk to you later. All right, bye. Daniel D. Gygax in the house. We had a little miscommunication. It is true. Last week we did. I haven't broken a lot of news since I've been doing this 3.5 years. But yeah, last week Bob we were the first ones that I had never heard that before. So we did. I did do a little news last year, or sorry, last Friday, Wednesday. Rock and Rant representing the College Football Express in the house. Good to have you here, Rock. Contributing member, moderator in chief, and also a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. Smash the like button when you when you filthy animals. Will you filthy animals? Do you filthy animals? Whatever it is. Yes, smash the like button. Sorry, my tongue's getting twisted up there. Oh, good. My daughter's coming to bail me out. I need ice water. Yes, thanks, Rock. I appreciate that. It's a great reminder. I don't always say it. Hit the like button. We definitely would love it. Oh, that's perfect. I was going to say, you can put it in here. You just want to put it in there for me? Okay, thank you. See, my children love me. I'm loved. I'm loved here. Not just you guys. Other people love me, believe it or not. Okay, phone number is live, 801-899-6203. Rock, you should call in, man. I'd love to talk to you. It's been a minute. I apologize. We couldn't work out the Holy War show. I can do it Thursday early evening if you want to do something, by the way. You don't have to call in. I was just teasing you. But if you want to do something Thursday early evening, I can do that with you. I'd love to do that with you, in fact, if you want to. It doesn't have to be with you. I do a pretty good job representing both sides. Thanks, sweetheart. That's my daughter, Haley, who is a rock star, by the way. All right, so let me get back. 801-899-6203. Call me now. We will continue. So anyways, let me finish this. I posted that. Did I post it? I know I copied it. I'm not sure I put it. If I didn't post it, here it is again. It's a comment from Daniel Libet. And basically, by the way, he's a great follow. You need to follow him. He covers news and notes, financial, legal, stuff like that in college sports. There is a stumbling block, and it's this voting block of right now, the report is Michigan and USC holding up this deal for the Big Ten, who there had been rumors late last week, not from me, from other people, that Monday, Tuesday, something was going to be announced, and obviously that hasn't happened. I'm not surprised. Others are a little bit. I still don't see a reason to do it this week. Maybe they do. They're talking on Thursday. So that's one story that I was tracking today. Again, I can't share that and share my my phone call page, so I'm just going to leave it and we'll keep going. This is the link. And Daniel, in fact, Daniel, if you post that, copy me on it. I would love to have that link, because then I'll share the link to the original video of the Netflix story. Let me see. Maybe you've already done it. Okay. This should do it. Okay, this is the link to the video. Do I want the link to the video? Okay, yeah, let's just do that. Okay, you guys can go to this video, and how about you guys put it out to the world? In fact, that's maybe even better. Daniel doing it is great. You guys doing it is even better. So watch this video, and then everybody blow this up. I interviewed Bob last Wednesday. I'm going to play the video because it's my own stuff, and I'm just going to say that I'm going to be able to do that. Let me go to share this tab instead, and let's make this bigger. Can I do that? I can. Let me share the screen. Let's see here. Pause. Why is that not popping up? Nope, that's not what I want. I apologize. Technical. Let's try this again. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to make this big. Hang on, everybody. Okay.
Call from.
Okay, so I'm going to make this big. Are you there? Hang on, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody just hang on one second. I'm going to play this video, okay?
Call from.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, so let's make this big. I think we've got some audio issues. Call back, please. I'm not sure who that was. Call back and I'll bring you on. I want to play this video, though, and I don't know how to make it big. For some reason, it's not letting me go big with it. That's kind of stupid. Well, that's really dumb. I apologize, everyone. I wanted this to work. Daniel, wonder if there's a different way. All right, here's the link. Again, I did that pop up? Sorry, I'm a little flustered here because I want to make sure this video gets across. Okay, so everybody go to that web address. I can't strip out Daniel's comment. Daniel, do me a favor and post that on a Twitter post, and then send me the link. So then I'll take that and I can play it. Right now, it's only playing the video and I can't bring it up. But the video I'm talking about, everybody, is Bob Thompson. And we talked last week about USC and Notre Dame and Netflix. Whoever called, please call back. I apologize. I was in between windows there, and you had your mics or your speakers on from your computer. Just mute those and just talk to me on your phone, and we should be good. Just call back, and I'm happy to talk to you. I'm sorry I had to pass you off there for a minute, but it doesn't work when we have your speakers on as well. Yeah, you is with me. I don't see it. Daniel. So I'm going to ask Daniel again. Post that link on Twitter and send me over the link. Okay. All right. 801-899-6203. Sorry, that was 3 minutes of live TV. Probably nobody wanted to watch. I apologize. We try to do a lot around here, and sometimes it's a little bit too much. So I appreciate everybody doing that. So I'm going to come back just to sort of circle back on everything I was talking about. I'm going to come back on the Netflix, USC, Big Ten, Michigan, financing, $2.4 billion, how that's all connected with Netflix story. As soon as I can get the actual X link that has not only the video, but the explanation from Daniel, if he'll put that out there, or Moen, whoever's watching from my command center, if one of you guys can put that out there, I'd really appreciate it. Moen, if you can, the video is in our DM, our team DM, and you could strip it off if Daniel's taken off. If you wanted to do that, that'd be great too. All right, here we go. Somebody else is calling me back.
Call from
Larry the GM.
Larry the GM, how you doing, man?
Well, you know how I'm doing, Bomber. You
I'm
know
what?
how I'm doing. It's the Tuesday after the Saturday
Right.
after the all-time biggest game in the former Big 12 history.
There you go. There you go. Hey, man, I'm all for it. I love some Oklahoma, Texas.
Bomber, I know you haven't been to that game.
I
I'm
haven't.
assuming.
No, unfortunately.
It is a surreal atmosphere, and they try to show this every year on TV.
Yeah.
But okay, Bomber, I'm just gonna be real with you for a minute. Texas fans, we can be a little spoiled. We can be a little bit of like, we just have high expectations, and if the team's not meeting those, we're not as loud as maybe some other fan bases.
Right.
But there's one game, Bomber, the Texas fans are some really good fans, and that is the OU game.
Okay.
Because they will not, they refuse to be out-cheered by the OU fans. So that's the atmosphere when you put basically 50-50 in that Cotton Bowl stadium, where both fan bases just scream over each other the entire game. And there's almost no time where it's really quiet unless one team just totally destroying the other, and half the fans have left. Which
were you there on Saturday?
I was not there. I usually don't go, just because, well, number one, I'm 59, and Summer, there's a lot of similarities between you and me.
Okay.
We both can say, we both can get a little mouthy with our mouths sometimes. And that's
for sure.
So me among 40,000 OU fans is probably not the best place to be.
I was in Salt Lake for the Holy War last year, and it was me and my boy, and I'm glad he's 6'2", 180.
Yeah, yeah.
He was there. He was my shield.
So I texted. I think I put a message in with you. So we're going to transition from the old biggest rivalry in the Big 12
Okay.
to I think to the newest, right? I mean, I think this week, I'm glad you guys are doing multiple shows to talk about the Holy War. I think I mean, that was great last night.
Oh,
And I
thank
just want to
you.
give you that feedback.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate that. I'll let him know. Yeah.
I think in when you guys are, the home of the Big 12 Mafia, right? And
Right.
I think when you guys really do justice to that rivalry and help, I mean, not everybody in the Big 12 has a full, I don't, and I'm not in the Big 12 anymore, but, I don't have a full appreciation for that rivalry. And I thought you guys did a really good job with that. And are you guys going to do more this week? Did you guys say?
Well, we're going to be on with Jackson Johnson tomorrow night on his Voice of College Football show, and we're going to talk exclusively Holy War. Thursday is the only open night that I've got in the week. Ute, unfortunately, his time is very limited. I might be able to do a show. I've just offered to go on Rock and Rant show on College Football Express. But yeah, I'm trying to get the word out, just like I was last year and the year before. We're just building it up, every year trying to make it bigger. I mean, you're now out. You know all the schools that are in the Big 12. How do you look at this rivalry from a third party? Do you think this is the biggest rivalry in the conference right now?
I think it is, Bomber, because, I mean, with all due respect to my former members of the Big 12, I mean, I think Iowa State and Kansas State, Armageddon, that's a big one. But most of the Texas, here's the truth, Bomber. Most of the schools in the Big 12 had kind of a one-way hate of Texas. And, Texas Tech's biggest rivalry is Texas. Baylor's biggest rivalry is Texas. All those schools hated Texas, and I'm objective enough to understand why. Okay, I get it. I get it.
Right.
And so that kind of they had such hate for Texas that they never. I mean, I think there's some good rivalries like Baylor. Baylor and TCU, I think, have a good rivalry. I think Tech and TCU have a good rivalry, but they're not on the level of the Holy War. And so it'll be interesting. I think what I posted earlier in the chat is like, hey, I think this year you've got this triangle of games between BYU, Utah, and Texas Tech, where all three of them are playing each other.
Yep.
And I mean, I know there's other teams in the contention for the Big 12 because the Big 12 has a lot of good, but maybe not great. Although I think one of those three may end up being great, labeled as great by the end of the year.
Right.
But whoever dominates that triangle, right, is probably going to be great in the view of the college football fandom. And if they all go like 1-1, then that's probably not actually great for the Big 12. The greatest thing for the Big 12 would be for one of the three teams just to have incredible games. I think the Utah Texas Tech game was good for a long time, and so if BYU and Utah have just one of those like instant classic games that they're putting on FS1 next week, or they play on replay, and then that Utah and Texas Tech have a great game. I think that's what's really great for the Big 12, and to have somebody emerge as the favorite of those three, I think is what's best for the Big 12. And so, but yeah, I think it's great. I just wanted to kind of celebrate the week with you because it's a great rivalry week. I love, Bomber, this, and private chat. I love your coverage of the business side of the sport. You're one of the sources. Your channel is one of the sources I count on the most. I really dig into the content. I love youth's content, and I feel, and a lot of times I feel like you and I are spirit animals in our view of college football, right?
You are actually. You're very similar. Yeah.
Very analytical approach to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we sometimes don't. Well, we're very analytical with the approach to the game. So,
Right.
I love the content. Palmer, can I just tell you what I think's happening with the Big Ten?
Sure. Yeah.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
think
You
you're gonna.
can take him
I
a
don't.
couple minutes.
I don't think you're gonna like this. Okay?
Oh, it doesn't
Just so I'm
bother
gonna give
me.
this
None of it bothers me.
I think here's the harsh reality.
Okay.
The Big Ten destroyed the Pac-12
Mm-hmm.
with help from the Big 12. The Big Ten and the SEC are going to destroy the ACC. And the Big Ten and the SEC are just lining up every angle they can line up to just put a chasm, a completely clear competitive and financial chasm between them and anybody else. And once they go and get the brands that they want into their conferences, the 4 to 8 brands that they're going to bring in between the two of them, then that's what they're going to do. Now, is that good for college football? Well, it's probably good for Big Ten and SEC football, but it's not good for just about anybody else. But I think that the whole, I've heard you say, why do they want this money? They want this money to be able to go destroy everybody else financially. And
I'm not sure that's true. I think Minnesota wants the money to pay revenue sharing and to stay relevant in the conference. I don't think they want more schools to enter the Big Ten. I completely see it the opposite. I don't think Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana want any part of any more schools joining the conference. I think they regret bringing in the Pacific schools because of all the travel and the additional expense they've already incurred. I think they want to cash out at a high point. They want to get 10% of their equity back so that they can reinvest it in their own people, resources, everything else. And they want to be more relevant in the future of college football. I don't think it has anything to do with a super league or a destruction of the Big 12 of the ACC. I just don't believe that.
Well, but to what end do they want to be competitive in the Big Ten? I think that
they want to make the playoff. I don't think they want to necessarily win anymore. We're talking about getting into a playoff. You don't have to be perfect anymore. So go 10-2.
Yeah. Especially if you go to 2014 playoff,
right? Which would be great. We go to a bigger playoff. Everybody says, "Oh, woe is me! It's the worst thing in the world." Why? When the NFL added more teams to the playoff, it got more popular, not less. It's ridiculous to say that expanding the playoff is bad for college football. It's probably the greatest thing that could ever happen. The more teams that can line up every year that think they have a chance, the more money they'll invest, the more people will be watching football games, and the more money all of college football will make. Any other storyline is ridiculous.
Well, I agree with you on that.
I know you do.
I think we're headed.
Yeah.
I think we're headed to a big playoff model. I actually think, though, the one thing I do wonder is if essentially the first pseudo round of that playoff will actually be the multi conference inter conference games.
Right.
Essentially playoff playing games, right? So
right. Yeah. And it could turn to that. That's possible. Yeah.
Where does the playoff begin, and where does on what date does the playoff begin? Because if the 3rd and 6 teams are playing their way into the playoff, that's a playoff game, right?
It is. In fact, this is how my math works. The A4 has 4 teams. The G6 has, I think you could line up 2 conferences. That's 6 teams that you could say they're into the playoff. I'm not saying what seeding they are. I'm just saying they're in the playoff. You rank the top 24 teams, and as long as every one of those teams is in the top 24, and I would assume they would be, to be essentially qualifying into the playoff, now you have a play-in game. So you could potentially have a G6 champion, and you could have a second team come in via a 2 and a 3 playoff. I like the ideas of semifinals in these conferences and get rid of championship games altogether. You have essentially two playoff games in each conference to end the year. Now you not only get 2 teams in from your conference, you probably get 2 more in their play-in games. You're just opening up the skies full of money. So I think where the playoff starts is with those semifinal games.
Exactly. Well, and I have a little different take for that, and I'll share that with you soon. I'm working on it.
Okay,
but
yeah, I'd love to hear it.
I think the power 2 will get their top 2. Like, okay, the Big Ten and SEC are getting their top 2.
Yeah.
And essentially their championship game becomes like who's the one. Think of the college football playoffs as like the NCAA bracket split in like 2 basketball bracket, where there's like a 1 seed, there's 4 1 seeds.
Yeah.
Well, in the college football playoffs, there's 2 1 seeds, right?
Yes.
And the winner of the SEC, I know people aren't going to like hearing this, but the winner of the SEC and the winner of the Big Ten championship game gets the 1 seed.
Usually,
then the question
I
is,
wouldn't guarantee that in a contract, though.
I think this is the grand compromise. And then where do you see the winners of the Big 12 and the ACC conference? Now the problem is, how long does the ACC have a conference? But
right.
But
Texas Tech might be the second best team in the country this year.
Right. Well, they may get
Miami for sure could be the number 1 team in the country.
When you think of it, it doesn't really matter if you're a 1 seed or 2 seed, right? Ultimately.
Not unless you do home games for the second round.
Well, no, both of them. Yeah, you're not going to have a home game for the last.
That's what I'm saying. Unless you had a home game for that second round, there'd be no reason 1-2. It just means who you're playing in that game is all.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think in the power conferences, they play like 3 versus 4, or so I'm mapping it all out, but you play multiple matchups, and in fact, partway down to that, you build out where you're playing 5 versus 5. You're playing Big 10 5 versus SEC.
Maybe it depends how big it goes. Yeah.
Right, and basically everybody has. Imagine a world where the playoff didn't even need a committee because everybody had to play in. That's much the model I'm looking for.
Well, my Super League is essentially just one giant playoff seeding. You play for all the NFL is playing for seeding in the playoffs. The regular season is to win the divisions, then win and get into the playoff. It has nothing to do with how good you are in the overall scheme of things in the entire conference, unless you're playing for the 1-1 seed. Other than that, everybody's playing just for different play-in games, essentially. So the college football should do the exact same thing.
Bomber, imagine a world where week 13 and 14, the last 2 weeks of the regular season, we're playing games for either a G6 school or a power 2 or the A4.
For sure, right? Yeah.
Everybody, every single one of those teams plays to get in or is playing for because I would put right now I would put the Big 12. Most of the teams in the conference championship game both get in.
This year, I think that's right. The ACC has eaten itself more than the Big 12 this year.
So you get the conference championship game, they're automatically in the 2014 model, right?
Yes.
But the difference is, if you win that conference championship game, you get a bye, and if you don't win that conference championship game, maybe you don't.
Yeah, but I would if I'm for BYU, I don't want to get the bye. I'd rather be the 6th seed and get the home game.
Well, I'm saying the second round is at home, and it's the third round that's no longer at home. So
right, understood. Whatever it is, I want them to get a home game. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you'll get one.
Yeah.
It's too much to describe on the phone, but
yeah, we'll do this another time. I appreciate you though.
it's a fascinating time in college football. It's a great week for BYU
Thank
Utah fans. I'm glad I'm glad you're getting the attention from Fox. And I think it's a great time. Big 12 fans should be. I think Big 12 fans should get really aligned with this rivalry, because I think they should really look at it as one of those pivotal moments in the Big 12 season.
Absolutely.
And that's an outsider looking in, and I'm not just saying to kiss your ass.
I know you're a Texas fan, man. I know. I
I'm just
appreciate
telling
you.
you
I'm going to post
what's
the link.
best for the conference. Okay.
I'm going to post a link to another post. You may or may not have seen it during the day, but it's a story about potentially Paramount, CBS, and TNT merging. CBS Paramount might be buying TNT. I'm going to post the link right now.
Cool.
That goes to the front office sports article. I did have a sub post on it, and I'm not worried about that, but it's a big deal. I'm going to let you go though, Larry. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Marlon.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Call from
Collegiate Athletics Advocate.
Collegiate Athletics Advocate. I love the name. How are you doing, man?
Hey, doing all right, Bomber. How's it going?
I'm doing good. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, just actually watching some weekday CUSA. I think I can't remember if this is a fresh rebrand on their weekday games or something to compete with Maction, but I'm loving it. This is actually pretty good. It's been going now for 2 weeks, and I love it.
Who is playing?
We got FIU is at Western Kentucky. 2-3 FIU is actually taking it to 5-1 Western Kentucky, leading by almost 2 touchdowns. So that's great. And then New Mexico State is at Liberty, and that's actually been a barn burner so far. So really exciting football. I love seeing it on a Tuesday night. Makes it a lot easier to bridge the gap. But
I love it.
Just passing the time, man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you calling in, watching me a little bit. You can have the game on mute, and we could be talking. What's on your mind? What are you following in the news this week?
Well, actually, I tuned in, right as you were speaking with your last guest, and I actually, oftentimes, Bomber, I find myself agreeing with you, but I think this time I'm in firm disagreement with a 24-teamer. That's just too much.
Okay, let's go. So tell me why you don't like it.
Well, I think the first thing is a lot of the parallels you're drawing were to the NFL. It's like, if I wanted to watch the Sunday game, I'll turn it on Sunday. Like, there's too much tradition. There's too much importance in conference play I see in college football that I think a 24-team playoff would completely dilute the regular season, and it would essentially become like what college basketball is in the regular season, which is, I mean, there are some games worth watching, but most of it's not really worth much.
Well, let me ask you some questions. Let's explore that a little bit. Okay.
All right.
I've given my opinion, so nobody needs to hear from me. I want to just ask you a couple pointed questions. So in a 24-team model, you could go and take care of the power conferences. Let's just say 2 all across. Everybody gets the same, and then it's straight seeding, right? There's no, if you win the Big Ten, you get the 1 seed. It's everybody, whoever the best teams are, they get into those spots. You go 2 deep in a tournament tier. So the first round is all home games. Second round would then be playoff games, and you'd go home, and then you'd get into the semifinal and quarterfinal games. At the end of the day, how does Indiana being relevant right now, if it was 5 years ago and we were before a 12-team model, and no, that was actually a 14 model. If we, before the 14 model, had 10-2 Indiana, would they ever make the playoff without winning the Big Ten?
No, they would not. I think
they wouldn't, right?
What I want to make sure that doesn't get misconstrued is I'm not against an expanded playoff, but I think the expanded playoff needs to end at like 16 teams. That is the maximum that I could. And actually, I think a 16-team playoff would be super exciting, but 24 teams, like at that point, also, when does the season end? And is college football competing with the NFL playoffs? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think the profits are going to outweigh all the negatives here. Plus, the devaluing of the conference championship games causes a huge financial nightmare for the media companies that have and the sponsors that have invested so much in those conference championship games. Because the argument is right now, and even some teams are exploring it, is like, especially Oregon, it's like maybe this loss actually works out for Oregon, because I don't even know if Oregon wants to be in the conference championship game anymore after last year.
I agree with you.
So I think, I think a 16-team playoff. I think you go back to 6 AQs, so 6 conference champions. I'd love to see like some sort of play-in game for the top-ranked independent team versus the top-ranked or the 6th best-ranked team. I think that'd be really exciting, because then you get, say, for instance, this year it would be, as it stands right now, I think you would see either a rematch of Notre Dame Boise, or you'd see Notre Dame GMU. I think there's really a lot of potential there in a 16-team playoff, but a 24-team playoff, it's not going to do what people kind of the people that want it to do, is like make more room for G5 teams like March Madness does, where everybody gets in. If every single conference gets a bid, fine, 24 teams, give it to me. But I think without it, you're just, at this point, you're not making more room for more G5s or little guys or underdogs. You are making room for 3 and 4 loss, maybe even 5 loss Power 2 teams, and that's not what people want.
That's not what people want. Do you think Alabama, Ole Miss, and South Carolina wanted to play another week?
Of course they do.
Did Miami and BYU want to play another week?
Yeah, I think they would have gotten in a 16-team playoff.
Not BYU. BYU was 17.
I mean,
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I know. Believe me, I was living that pain. So all I'm saying is 16 teams. How many teams were as good as BYU and Miami? You could continue to go down. You're not always getting the best teams in when you're having games that go through a championship process. Was Clemson, did they deserve to get a bye? Was SMU
that's
good
why
by the end of the year? And that's done by polls. Those guys were in there because of polls or winning a league championship. So you're not always going to have the best 1 to 16 teams playing in the thing.
No, and that's a really great observation there, Bomber. So I don't disagree. I think actually part of the process that needs to be revamped about the playoff is the selection process. Right now, I think that it's not that the committee has done a bad job, but honestly, I lost all faith in the playoff committee. I've really only been a closer observer of college football for the past 4 years now. I lost all my faith in the playoff committee when they took an unranked or an undefeated Florida State team and left them out of the playoffs in favor of a 1-loss Alabama.
Yes.
Was the 1-loss Alabama team better?
No.
Yes. Yes,
no,
they
I don't
were.
think so.
They were.
Florida State
with Jordan Travis out with his femur snapped in half, that Florida State team would have been blitzed by Alabama. But my problem isn't that they were, it's the fact that the criteria was changed by the playoff committee at the 11th hour because ESPN realized that they weren't going to get one of their darlings into the playoff, and it was going to cause viewership issues.
Yes.
Is that more conspiratorial? Fine. Yeah, but in reality, they changed the criteria from most deserving to best in the 11th hour, and honestly, it's killed the ACC.
It's definitely hurt Florida State. Yes.
Well, but here's the thing: is when you damage basically the value of an undefeated season in a single conference, you then damage the reputation of that conference. And in my mind, that's why immediately Florida State sued to get out, because they realized if we stay in this conference, it's going to be the death of us in the modern day. In the modern day landscape, we're not going to be able to get the respect that we deserve. We're not. The teams that are investing in this league are being dragged down by the teams that are not, and it is going to be the death of us if we stay. And that's why the lawsuit started. They got Clemson on board, and now it seems everybody wants out. Although at the beginning of the year, I thought, I was thinking everything was going to be peachy for the ACC because they had looked to have a really strong start, and then things went downhill fast. But sorry, that was a little tangential. But
No, that's
really,
okay. I appreciate it.
In reality, I think, you need to protect the value of conference games. And I think that's really if you go to 24 teams, it doesn't protect that.
I think it's a valid argument. We're not going to be able. We don't have the time to go point for point. Maybe at some point we could do it if you wanted to.
And that's fine.
The idea of an expanded playoff, though, needs to continue to be in the forefront of everybody's minds. Right now, nobody has talked a whit about the CFP, which comes up in a little over 7 weeks. They have to settle on if they're going to expand for 2026. If we stay at 12 teams, it will be a disaster, in my opinion. You're going to leave so many more fan bases out in the cold every year and that compounds yearly, that I think it would be a massive mistake to not at least take it to 16. And then depending on how all consolidation continues to work, it might depend whether it goes to an expanded play of even more than that in 2030, 31. I wasn't saying I wanted to go to 24 tomorrow. I think eventually, if we were at 24, if conference realignment or consolidation is done correctly, and I think we'll eventually end up with 3 conferences, one way or another, we're going to end up in conferences that are around 20 members. If we get there, now all of a sudden you can start planning a little bit bigger access, and it fits better.
I don't disagree.
Teams. Yeah,
I think you're right on that. I think we've talked a little bit about this kind of just through direct messages, but
sure.
I have my own video I'm making right now on kind of my predictions on conference realignment, and I'll definitely be sharing my thoughts with you as soon as they're a little bit more well formulated, and
sure.
I'm just still working on that. But I think one of the biggest things that I was starting to get to and then lost my train of thought, but then remembered, is revamping the way that the selection process is done.
Yeah,
I'd love to see and hear me out on this because it's going to sound dumb at first, but it might get a little bit more intelligent. Is a Vegas odds makers, data science model, kind of a predictive model, or just a team assessment model, predicting neutral field favorability, but get rid of the elements of that model that include player rankings, skill rankings, and coaching rankings.
Yes, because
talent rankings are what ruin. That's why power rankings look so dumb and people get so mad at, for instance, when Josh Pate does his or now he does his own poll, his own
he does
AP poll, the commissioner's poll. But back when he was doing just the JP poll, which was his predictive model, people got so pissed off, and that's because it factors in talent rankings, and because talent rankings play such a huge role in odds making. But at the end of the day, we've seen, if the odds making doesn't always work, I don't care how many 4-stars you have on your team.
No,
I want to know, how well did you beat a team?
Yeah.
Where did you beat them?
Yep.
In what fashion did you beat them? What did you do on the field? Because that matters far more to me than how many blue chips you have on your roster.
Boy, I couldn't agree with you more. FPI and RPI are broken metrics, and both of them need to be thrown out.
And I think we saw it a couple. We saw it a couple of times where there was I think as much as he's a bit sensationalist, Locked On Big 12, Drake Toll was pointing out a couple of times in the off season when there was commits going to Big 12 teams that were 5-stars or 4-stars that got demoted when they committed to Big
Jeff
12
Fuller
teams or
actually
ACC teams.
That's right. Jeff Fuller was the first person I saw, but certainly Drake has commented on it. Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Don't necessarily give him the credit for the reporting, but that's where I.
Of course, I want everybody to get credit. I'm just saying I want to make sure everybody knows. The first person I heard that from was Jeff Fuller. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you having me on today, Bomber.
Of
We'll
course, you
definitely do this
bet.
again sometime.
You can call me anytime. Let's keep talking. And yeah, if you you want somebody to help promote your video, just let me know.
Oh, appreciate that, man. All right.
Okay.
I'll have a nice night. Hopefully
All
you
right,
get
you
to
too.
watch a little bit of weekday CUSA.
There you go. Go watch some Conference USA. I appreciate it. Thank
All right,
you
see ya.
so much. Yes, yes, yes. Clap, clap, clap. Great calls. You guys are spoiling me, I swear. There is a super chat that came through. I want to make sure I get to this. This goes off. Actually, I lost it. Super chat. Justin R checking in. How about them USF Bulls? Yes. Boy, South Florida looks good, everybody. They're not rumors to be good. They are good. They beat a Florida team that has now come out of the doldrums again. They do seem to do that second half of seasons. But USF is certainly in the front runner to get that spot. I don't know. I think they don't play Memphis during the season, but I could be wrong about that. Either way, I think it's going to be Memphis or them representing the G6. I could be wrong. But boy, I would vote for USF right now. I think they're better than Memphis is. Anyway, great. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Justin. It's great to see you. All right, I want to get to this. My one claim of fame, breaking news, and I would encourage you guys to. I'm going to post the link to it right now. This is the link to the entire article. Thank you to Daniel Gygax for posting this on Twitter. I'm not going to, well, let's see. I can do this right now. I can share that stream. I've got audio. Let me bring it to the screen. Here we go. And I'm going to make it big. And then I'm going to play this audio. This is Bob Thompson last week on this show last Wednesday. Sorry. Oh, I see it now. I was interviewing Bob, and we were talking about all news in college football, and he dropped this little tidbit on us. And this was breaking news that's now come out in the news yesterday and today. Here we go.
I do have one thing that I thought was interesting that I'll bring up, and that was the attempt, and I'm not sure who to blame this on at this point, although I know that the TV networks were not very happy. The idea that USC and Notre Dame would fly somewhere and outside of the US and play a non-conference game and be able to carve that game somehow out of their, either in the case of Notre Dame, their NBC deal, or in the case of USC, the Fox deal, which also includes NBC and CBS.
There you go. And if you didn't catch that, that is Bob Thompson one more time.
Somewhere and outside of the US and play a non-conference game and be able to carve that game somehow out of their, either in the case of Notre Dame, their NBC deal, or in the case of USC, the Fox deal, which also includes NBC and CBS.
Did everybody catch that? I hope you caught that, because that was breaking news at the time. And I've never broken news before, so I probably didn't exploit it last week like I could have. But now that news has come out yesterday and news has come out today that Michigan and USC are the ones now holding up a potential private equity, private capital, venture capital deal, whatever you want to call it, of $2.4 billion. Right now you're seeing why USC might do that. They might not be getting enough money out of the carve out on the initial deal. We don't know what that breakdown looks like, but originally it was Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan were going to get the most money of that. That was the initial speak, and that was last week. And then we find out today that, oh, wait a second, the media partners are not happy that this is happening. And that would be CBS, that would be Fox, and that would be NBC. So that was Bob Thompson last week. So here is the article, and I'm going to share it. By the way, I did turn off the phones just so we could cover this. Let me bring this up again. So here is the actual article that I was talking about. I don't know if I get to that again. Sorry. Here we go. Here's the article. It was an awful announcing. Netflix talks for air future USC Notre Dame games still ongoing despite network resistance. Okay. So I posted the link to the video. The video has the link to the Netflix article. And I will just summarize it like this. It's exactly what Bob said. There's nothing else to it. It is exactly what Bob said. An out of offshore bankable game for Notre Dame, for USC to basically run their own little network deal. One game and play on Netflix and make bazillion of dollars. Okay. So I encourage you guys read the article on Awful Announcing. They're a great site. I always like to encourage you to do that. I posted a link to the video. Do me a favor and help spread the word. Get out on that thing. Repost it. Cut it up again if you want to go to the main video. There's other stuff Bob talked about that night that he generally doesn't do interviews, people. I'm one of the few people he does an interview with on a pretty consistent basis. And I don't take that for granted, Bob, if you're watching. I appreciate you so much. But this is not a slam dunk, the Big Ten getting its media deal. Sorry, getting its investment deal, whatever that investment is. Now, do I think something could be worked out? I do. I do think the Big Ten, in some way, shape, or form, could trade services, do something to make USC, give USC the ability to do this deal with Notre Dame. They might not like it, but they want USC on Fox. They want USC on CBS. They want USC sometimes on NBC. To do that, they're going to have to give a little. So the give a little would be they get to do this out of conference game. Nobody gives them major guff. They don't have to pay anybody kickbacks, and they go and they make whatever Netflix pays Notre Dame and USC to play the game, and we move right along. Big Ten gets their 2.28 billion, whatever the number is. USC's happy. You know who's not going to be happy? Are the people that generally are complaining about it. The media partners and people that are at schools that aren't USC and Notre Dame. And probably not Penn State, Ohio State, or Michigan, if the rumors are true. The reports are true that Michigan's part of this cabal. And put yourself in USC shoes. Why would you give? Why would you not? You basically went to Big Ten on a 100% share, one share. If everybody gets a solid share or a half share, whatever. UCLA came in at a full boat, right? And they want to be paid like it and respected like it. USC's blue blood. And I guarantee you, Michigan, wouldn't surprise me if Michigan's not talking to Notre Dame about doing a deal. Ohio State talking to Netflix about doing a deal. I mean, we're at the point now where these grants of rights deals and these media deals are going to start getting cut up. They're going to start getting little drop-ins for options for schools. If they can find another way to make money, they can do it. And the same thing would be true if Indiana could get Netflix, or for that matter, Amazon or Apple TV to invest in a single game that they would have that would be an out-of-conference game. Go for it. If USC should be able to do it, everybody else should be able to. But I'm saying this isn't the exception. This is going to become the rule. Just like we're maybe looking at these large buyouts for coaches might be starting to go away because of revenue sharing. Schools can't pay these massive buyouts anymore like they used to be able to. Change is constant in college football, college sports in general. Yeah, I don't know. I've gone a long time tonight. I appreciate everybody that's been a part of the show. I don't have any more super chats, I don't think. I did want to get to this comment from David McKenzie on X. Watches me on X. David, you're probably gone by now. I did mark this earlier, though. David McKenzie, want to tell you another guy I respect the heck out of. He's the guy who put the lawsuit in for the ACC to expose all the stuff going, all the underhanded dealings going on in ACC, Florida State, Clemson land. I respect people who are willing to put they invest their own money and time, which he did, money and time, to do open records requests to try to keep those deals in the open. I love it, David. I need to get him back on. He's just difficult to track down. Who wins, Carolina or Cal? How ruthless will the Calgorithm be on Jordan Hudson? That's a funny question. I haven't talked about Cal or Carolina in weeks, except for to make fun of Carolina. David is a North Carolina State fan, so I don't think he cares. I just have not much good to say about North Carolina, the football team. I think the brand is fantastic, and the basketball team is elite, obviously. The brand is second to none. But, yeah, I'm not a fan of Bill Belichick. Let me put it that way. And then Cal got off to a fast start, and then they've sort of gone down with a true freshman quarterback. They've kind of gone the other way. BYU's true freshman quarterback has gone from strength to strength. Bear Bachmeier is the exception, not the rule. And the algorithm for Jordan Hudson, I'm done with the Jordan Hudson joke. Sorry, David, I didn't give you the payoff you wanted there, but I always love to see you, man. And thanks for watching me on X. If you're watching right now, do me a favor, do one more reset. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, turn on your notifications on YouTube and Twitter. That way you know when we go live on YouTube and we post news items on Twitter. As we've talked about several times tonight, I've posted links to news articles. We do track those for you, so you don't have to. If you follow us, you'll also get those because we follow those, so you'll get those secondhand as well. But we're no dummies around here. I didn't just fall into this thing with Netflix and Bob last week. That's based on a relationship that's 3 years old that we've put time and money and energy into so that you guys don't have to. We want to be a trusted source. I really respect Larry, the GM, coming on and saying those kind things. Ute and Moen and my whole team. Rock, Daniel, Becky. Who am I missing? Pickles. Fergie. I mean, the list could just go on and on. All these people contribute to the show and the success of the channel, and I appreciate them because they're very hardworking. And the work we do around here is for you. So I've got a couple more minutes. I'll open the phones for one more phone call if you want to call in. I'll talk to you right now. There have been a couple phone calls I have missed tonight. I apologize. We just either had bad timing with a post I wanted to talk about or I had technology challenges. So call in right now. I'd love to talk to you. I'll take one more phone call. Also, I'll stick around if you have any more super chat comments you want me to get to. I'm not going to have time to get to any more Twitter posts. I would just ask you to, if you follow me, then you can go back and look at the posts that I put out that way. There's probably about 10 of them that were news related today, not opinion, news related that if you follow me, you could have access to as well. I will take comments until the top of the hour. I'll take one more phone call if you want to call in. If not, that's cool too. We can sign off without that. And then, of course, super chats, we will go. I'm going to work backwards through the comments I've already got marked. And then I'll take super chats as they come in. Vibe Circuit. Good to have you here, Vibe Circuit. I hope you subscribe. It's great to have you here. Want you to stick around and become a part of the channel. We love feedback from the people that view us, and we do this for you guys. BYU and Notre Dame would be good. I would love that as an annual game. Unfortunately, Notre Dame's got bigger fish that they can bring on, like the USC we were just talking about. But boy, we played a few times, and they've been always good games. So I have nothing but respect and envy for Notre Dame. I've always wanted BYU to be Notre Dame. Well, heck, everybody's wanted to be Notre Dame pretty much. unless you're one of the other 7, 8 blue bloods or 10, 12 brands in all of college football that have had the same or better success. Everybody's wanted to be Notre Dame or is jealous of them. I'm willing to openly admit I've been jealous, and I've always I hope that BYU could get there. Maybe someday. BYU's getting money now. We're definitely on the up. But I would love that game. Chris G, if Virginia Tech can make a good hire with now the second largest money pie in the ACC, yeah, I'm telling you, schools are stepping up. By the way, if you want to call in, it's 801-899-6203. And get this turned around in 2 years. Virginia Tech is the biggest brand, and the 11th largest state will be fine. Virginia Tech has been big. The 2000s were the best decade for Virginia Tech ever. You guys were on the cusp of greatness there, man. You can get it back, but it is going to take money, and it's going to take involvement of your entire fan base. T-shirt fans, boosters, everybody has to be all in. There's no half commits. Ask Penn State about that. They were losing momentum. Losing 3 games in a row is a cardinal sin. Losing momentum in modern college football where you were losing the narrative. Penn State was going to drop out of the top 25. They were going to possibly not be in a final top 25. That would have been nuclear scenario for Penn State. If you want to be a national relevant brand, you have to be a top 30 brand every year going forward. And you have to be in the top 25 every year, at least for a few weeks. If you don't finish there. Have to. I'm sorry, if you're not gonna, you can't play at this level. That's just the way it is. And I hate that because that's very low tolerance for some schools. Clint Moses saying, "Go Utes." Clint, why do you got to be like that? I am seriously the biggest Oregon State booster that's not an Oregon State booster. I am totally on your side. Why do you got to go at me like that? Go Utes. Nah, I like you anyway. Appreciate you being here. It's great to have you here, Clint. Oregon State, they're again a complete rebuild, and they need to get rid of what's his name? I can't remember his name. Is his first name Brent? Whoever the Oregon State AD is needs to be on a rail tomorrow. Firing Bray, the coach, this last weekend was a disaster choice. Bray wasn't the problem. Problem's higher than him. But of course, he didn't want to get fired, so he had to fire somebody below him. That's how middle management works. A story I didn't get to today. I don't know if I bookmarked it. And a lot of people probably wouldn't like it anyway. Maybe I won't post it. It was about Kenny Dillingham. Yes. Okay, this I'm just going to post this without comment. You guys go and watch this at your leisure. I posted, this is the original post from a different guy, Justin Lacrosse. He posted the video. I'm going to give him credit. You guys go watch that and then read my comment after it. Dillingham drives me bonkers. When everything is right in the rain, he's happy, and it's because he did all the work. The minute they start to have a little bit of challenges, all of a sudden he's doing all the work, and he has no help. I just do not like the guy. It's more of an intrinsic not like. I love ASU. I've always loved ASU. The program ASU has always been a sleeping giant. In Pac-12 land or Pac-10 land, that used to be the every year ASU was the sleeping giant. But I've always liked ASU brand itself. Dillingham just doesn't do it for me. He's a high burn, high out guy. If this is how he responds to challenges, I don't know how he's going to last. So you guys go do your own votes. Maybe you all love him. Pile on me. I'd be okay with it, but he needs to grow up some. What is he, 34? I don't know. Just rubs me the wrong way. Let's see here. Any more people want to call in? 801-899-6203. Call in right now. It's great to see you, Clint. Let's see if there's anybody else. Vibe Circuit, again, this is another tweet I didn't get to, but Brent Venables said every week in the SEC, it's a one, what was his quote? Sorry, I don't remember it word for word. It's a one possession game, something like that, one score game. And we just dominated the Big 12. And the last 2 years in there in Big 12, they lost 8 games. I don't know what Venables is doing. I'm not a fan. I love Oklahoma, another brand that has to be good for college football to be great. Venables, I question his decisions not to. Why did he play Mateer last week? Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame college football. He said they should have played he's the biggest OU fan in the world. He didn't understand why they didn't play the backup. I think that's a mistake. Oklahoma might still make the playoff, but Mateer's got to be healthy. They have got to sit him. Larry, the GM earlier said, Bomber, is it possible that the 3 games, BYU, UU, Texas Tech, UU, Texas Tech, BYU, could be more important than any games last year and critical for the long-term Big 12 future? Yes. The answer to all 3 of those is yes. Maybe I got to that earlier, but it is. Texas Tech's not going away. Might as well get used to the brand, everybody. You might not like them, but Cody's not going to let them disappear into the netherworld. Every school is going to have 1 year, but I doubt going forward now Texas Tech can have back-to-back years where they're just bad. They're going to challenge for the bit. They are with the money backing they have right now. They are, if you're going to look at a single pay brand this second, I would say it's Texas Tech, and BYU's right behind them, and Utah's right with BYU right now, and then ASU's somewhere. But right now, that's where the conference is at. Iowa State. I wish Iowa State had won that playoff game last year, because then I think ASU might have still gotten in. Anyway, I hate the fact that the Big 12 can only lose 1 game to send 2 teams to the playoff. It's just brutal. Big Lubbock, Bomber, Texas Tech is not hating Utah to try and take your rival away. We just hate Utah. Utes, look, UT is arrogant, A&M is delusional, but Utah is both. Thanks, Lubbock. That makes me feel better. No, I'm not worried about that. I think Texas Tech knows what time it is. I think Utah is definitely a brand that will be fun. Every year, I hope we're able to play as much as possible. But I'm not concerned with that. BYU spending money, Utah doesn't have access to. And it's a lot like Texas Tech. It's not as much as Texas Tech, but it's a lot like Texas Tech. That advantage is not going away as long as BYU still has access, which is good for the Big 12. Big 12 needs that. All right, I'm done. I'm going to shut off the phones. I see no more super chats. You guys have been fantastic tonight. I really appreciate everybody sticking with me. It's been a lot of fun. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube. Go to the College Football Mafia on YouTube. If you're on the X platform watching me right now, jump over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. College Football Mafia, easy to find. We're the only one out there, and become a member of the College Football Mafia family. We appreciate everybody, all the phone calls. You guys are the best fans, best viewers in all of social media, in my opinion. People watch us, and the people watch Greg Pflugar, smartest out there. We do good work, and it's because you guys are pushing us. We appreciate you. I want everybody to stay out of trouble. Look for us tomorrow night on Voice of College Football. Ute and I will be doing the Holy War on Jackson Johnson's show tomorrow night. I believe it's 8 p.m. Eastern time. And with that, I will say peace. Everybody stay out of trouble. Go BYU. Holy War. We'll talk to you later.